What's good, Faith Walkers? Welcome back to the God's Vibes podcast. What's good? Oh my goodness, guys. This year is flying. We've been joking in our prophetic training that it's already felt like 3 years in the first few months of this year. And we've had these different prophetic commands. We started with preparing to pivot, and we did a prophetic summit, and that was so powerful. Then we shifted immediately into not just preparing to pivot, but pivoting on purpose in a virtual retreat, got granular on what those pivots look like. And then we've just been in winds of change all of a sudden, and it's been epic. But those that know their God shall be strong and do great exploits. Amen? So we've got a powerful word today about activating great faith. Activating great faith. So this is going to be a really powerful word. If you are new here, special shout out to you. Welcome. I hope you perceive and know that it is not random that you're here. Many have found, and not only when they get here, but also when they make it over to Courage Co. And if you're new, you might not know what Courage Co is, but Courage Co is a training hub, and it's hosted on a private app. And the great thing about this is you can interface with it on a desktop, which I personally like to do. And then when you're on the go, you can also use it from your phone. So it's super great, whether that's listening to calls on the go or catching up on trainings and replays and all sorts of things. This is literally a space and a hub that is dedicated to your spiritual growth, your personal development, your relationship with God, you thriving. So it's full of discipleship, mentorship, prophetic training, the Spirit Driven Success Life Coach Certification Program, coaching with our certified coaches. So much is in there. So this is a training hub designed to really help you mature and walk in your authority, evolve into your kingdom assignments, and truly step into the fullness of what God has in mind for you, which is unique to every person. So we celebrate diversity, and that's a great space. You can join it for free. It's www.courageco.org. But what we hear people say is that they're led. And I will say that we pray for you. There's a prayer ministry. We pray. So we pray that we are an answer to those that are truly a fit for the work that we're doing in the earth, for this mission that God has given us. So we often find that you're an answer to our prayers and we're an answer to your prayers, and we get to run together as spiritual running buddies, as faith walking buddies, and it's just truly profound and really, really powerful. So welcome. It's not random. Coming up, oh my goodness, we've got a couple of things that you're going to want to know about. Number one, we are launching into 30 days of faith walking live on April 1st. Some call that April Fool's Day, but we're going to make sure the devil, the fool, is under our feet, and we are initiating a faith walk on that day. And that just feels like a whole assignment. So we are bringing our leaders together for this. We're bringing alumni together for this. We're going to have different facilitators. There's going to be 5 different calls. So we're going to have a welcome call. We're going to have 4 different calls across each week, and then we're going to have the last call be a bonus call that's 2 hours long. So good. So incredibly epic. So powerful. And the way the faith walking program works, there is digestible content, which is why it's so valuable. So over 30 days, I essentially took the workbook, Rule and Reign the Faith Walker Manual. You don't need to purchase that workbook to be a part of it, although you can if you'd like to. It's on julianapage.com/books. You can find that. But I made faith walking based off that manual. So essentially in any season, you could be walking by faith. Okay. So the great thing about the program is a couple things. One, you get access to it for an entire year. I don't know that many people know that. Sometimes they think they just get the 30-day experience. Nah, you get it for a whole year. A whole year. So that means that when you enroll, you likely get to go through 4 different rounds of it. Okay, pretty powerful. Now, number 2, those that enroll, we're doing something we've never done before. Those that enroll will get their $200 that they pay to be a part of this. It's $197. They will get $200 off the God's Vibes Mastermind. I know. I know, crazy. Okay. Also, it's digestible in the sense that each day is 15 to 30 minutes. There's a video training, and then there's a free workbook that I made off the manual. So you get to go through different work questions and activations and different reflection points throughout the entire training. So it's digestible. You can work through this at your own pace. Then there's weekly live calls, a bonus call, and so much goodness happening in there. And we're all going to be running together. So here's what I will tell you. Enroll now, register now. I'm one of those people, maybe you're similar, that needs to commit. I have to have my full commitment behind a thing. I got to plan. I got to put it all on the calendar. I got to mentally prepare. Got to work my way into it. So if that's like you, do the registration now. Get yourself in there, put it on your calendar, get familiar with the space so that you're ready to go, because we are literally starting on April 1st. Okay? So 30 Days of Faith Walking starts April 1st. It's going to be live. All right? That's so important. So a lot of times we just allow you to listen to replays and all of that, but we are going to be live. We're going to be in there. I personally am connecting prayer and fasting to it. So if that's something that you're interested in, we will guide you through how you can engage in prayer and fasting throughout this 30-day experience as well. So this is great if you are, maybe you feel like you're drifting. Maybe your prayer life hasn't been as strong as you want it to be. Maybe you feel like you've got a relationship issue on your heart that you need to take on a faith walk, or maybe you're going through a transition and you need a lot of clarity, or maybe you just don't feel like you hear God. Take whatever your issue is on a faith walk. Take your breakthrough on a faith walk with us, okay? Super important. Secondly, coming up next week, we also have some hangouts. So if you guys are not familiar, inside Courage Co, we have an ambassador program. This is essentially our volunteer program, and we have some ambassador core leaders that lead the ambassadors, but we've got a hangout happening. So hangouts are something that we've done for years, where we meet in the local community. So you can learn about hosting a hangout if you would like to, or being a part of a hangout if you'd like to. We've got a virtual one coming up and also a local hangouts. Okay, so there's some local ones that are popping up. So if you want to learn about those or be a part of those are happening inside Courage Co. Okay, so the 29th is when the local ones are happening. We also have a prophetic night. So a prophetic night is so powerful. We have some of our trainees in the prophetic that are going to minister and release prophecy and just the love of the Father. So if you guys want to receive prophetic ministry, if you want to learn about the prophetic, that's a great opportunity to come experience it. It's Tuesday night, Tuesday, March 25th at 7 p.m. Okay, Tuesday, March 25th at 7 p.m. So if you want to be a part of that, that's a great thing to be a part of. And then coming up, we are also going to start, which is going to be so fun, a book club. Y'all, we are going to go through every single book. It's going to be so good, and we have an exciting announcement coming up too around that. But if you want to be a part of the book club's totally free, so you can join us. All of these things that I am sharing are inside Courage Co. www.courageco.org. Put that in a browser, and then once you get inside, there's a checklist that makes it pretty simple and straightforward for how to navigate that space, and we're happy to help you through any of that. But there's an events tab that tells you when all of these are. You can sync those events to your calendar. You can join us. You can ask us questions. We will make sure that you get to where you need to be. And if you do have questions at all, you can always email the team at info@julianapage.com. Okay, so let's do some reminders. 30 Days of Faith Walking is going to be live. We do not always do it live, and it has never been like this one. Make sure that you register now and reserve a spot. I also recommend inviting a friend. Okay, who else needs to go on a faith walk? Who else needs to be reignited in their faith? Grab them, get them to join us, okay? 2, if you want to experience prophetic ministry, join us on March 25th at 7 p.m. Central Time. Okay. And then if you want to come hang, if you want to join us in some hangout and just have some community time, the 29th, we are doing a virtual, some local hangouts. So you can see if there's one in your area and you can come join us for that. If not, we also have a virtual one. Okay. So that's just coming up here in March and literally the very 1st of April. Okay. There's so much other goodness coming, but that's just what you need to know right now. Okay. Action step. Register for Faith Walk, put the prophetic ministry night on your calendar, and come hang out with us, okay? All right, y'all. Let's get into the word. Okay, so I just want to pose a question real quick. What if, okay, we're just going to play with this thought. What if the only thing holding you back is small faith? Da-na-na. What if the only thing holding you back is small faith? Okay, so sometimes when we think that we're being held back or that we're stuck, we think of it's resources, it's financial, it's connections, it's so many things. Sometimes we think, we come up with the most interesting things about why we're being held back. But what if the only thing holding you back is small faith? Oh, ye of mustard seed size faith, right? So we're going to talk about this for a second. We're going to talk about how to dare to believe bigger, because it's time for great faith. Maybe there was a time where we could kind of skirt by with that little mustard seed, okay? But now is a time for great faith. Ordinary faith won't take you where God is calling you, and it's time to step into the supernatural. And this, frankly, is why Courage Co. is dedicated to this mission of equipping the believer, whether that's through prayer, prophetic encouragement, 30 days of faith walking, discipleship, mentorship, coaching, prophetic training, the certification program. These are all designed to help you get equipped. And we're on a journey with God. We're on a process with God. There's no shortcuts, okay? Obedience is the shortcut, if there is one. It's obedience, and your life is always moving at the speed of your obedience. And so what we want to help you do is we want to help you stop self-sabotaging. We want to help you stop getting in the way of your destiny and what you're on the planet to do. You are a very powerful person, and we want to make sure that you know that and that you're stewarding that well, okay? So I've got a fun thought that I just want you to write down. What does God marvel at? Isn't that a cool thought? What does God marvel at? He marvels at some things, and we're gonna move into that here in a second, but really want you to consider this. What does God marvel at? Like, what delights God's heart? What is he moved by? What is he shocked by even, right? What does he marvel at? Okay, so just have that on your mind. Put that on the back burner for a second. Have you ever faced a challenge so big that you felt stuck, maybe unsure of how to move forward? We see this a lot when we do hot seat coaching or just in coaching sessions in general. I know this is true. All of you have shared it with me. Maybe it's a dream that seems impossible. Maybe it's a medical report that's not good. Maybe it's a financial struggle or a relationship that feels so deeply broken that you don't even know what to do when you look at it anymore. In these places, it's easy to settle, to accept things as they are. They're never going to change. This is just the way it is. I should just, set up camp here. I should just accept my lot, right? But I want to remind you today, God wouldn't have put that dream in your heart if he didn't give you a way to bring it to pass. And God's promises, here's what's so powerful. God brings his promises to pass. Our job is to believe, okay, and walk by faith. God fulfills the promise. So here's the key. God works through faith. That's why we hear by grace, by God's enablement, by his mercy, by his kindness. by his love, by grace, through faith. Through faith. And faith is a supernatural force. It's actually substance, okay? That causes things to come together. So if you believe small, you receive small. Maybe you've seen this in your life. Like, picture you walking in your life, okay, before you really started walking in any way by faith. I know for me, there was lots of anxiety. Of course, we don't say that we're anxious and a high functioning, anxious person, but we'll say something like, oh yeah, I'm just on a future trip. That's the word I like to use. I'm just future tripping. I'm just, thinking of all the worst case scenarios and coming up a plan with all of those because they have happened before. So I want to make sure that all of these don't happen, because if those happened before, these will probably happen. If these happen, I'm going to freak out, right? So I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of overwhelm because I wasn't clear on the direction necessarily, or the purpose, right? Like, I had to find my way. I saw so many people that did not seem to find a way that looked good, lovely, noble, praiseworthy. So I thought, well, if they didn't find it, I got to find it. And I'm behind. So I kept trying to catch up in life, okay? And high achieve my way into things that weren't working. They weren't working, okay? And then when you do that enough, that feels really depressing, actually. But we don't talk about that. We don't have anxiety. We're not depressed. We're not discouraged. We're not worn out. We're not stressed. No, everything's fine. I'm fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's a lie, right? So we get really good at pretending. We get really good at hiding in plain sight. And we get really good at acting like everything's fine when it's not fine. And God can't bless who we pretend to be, okay? And that doesn't take great faith. What's moving all of that is great fear. So for me, apart from God, okay, there's a lot of fear, doubt, insecurity, anxiety, a lot of working, and firing at all cylinders, a lot of toiling. It's almost like that little buffer spinning wheel on your computer. Okay, it feels like that. Here's the thing, though. God works through faith, not fear. And unless the Lord builds the house, it won't stand. Meaning, when you're building in fear, the Lord's not building that. He's not building that. And if you think small and believe small, you'll receive small. If you think, I've reached my limit, then you're going to stay where you are. If you think life is supposed to be this way, then you just signed up for more of life being that way. But, when you awaken great faith, when you dare to believe that God is bigger than your circumstances, you step into the supernatural, okay? And usually, the natural has to run out so that the supernatural can kick in. And when you step into the supernatural, here's where this is scary for most people, okay? It's scary because you can't use your logic and your reasoning. You can't control. You can't manipulate. You can't figure it all out. You can't lean on your own understanding. So all that stuff that you got highly trained in doing before doesn't work in the realm of the supernatural. Okay? So here's an interesting thing. Jesus talked about different levels of faith. Here's an example. When the disciples faced a storm, they panicked, thinking they were about to die and get swallowed up, right? Before calming the storm, Jesus looked at them and said, "Why do you have such little faith?" Talks about this in Matthew 8:26. At this point, he is saying this not to be mean in any sort of way, but to genuinely have them take a moment, a pause, and reflect. At this point, they'd seen him heal the sick. They'd seen him multiply food, okay? They'd seen him restore the broken. And yet, even now, after seeing all these miracle signs and wonders, they still doubted. So he takes a minute and says, "Why do you have such little faith?" So when we encounter God, when we get exposed to miracles, we now operate at a different level of faith. We get exposed to something new and we can't go back to who we were before. We're marked by it. We're changed by it. Okay? Now, there's also those that had great faith. The ones who believed against all odds. Whew. Okay. So here's an example. The centurion who told Jesus, "You don't even have to come to my house. Just say the word and my servant will be healed." Luke 7:7. Jesus, it says here, marveled at his faith. Come on, what does God marvel at? Well, here he marveled at the centurion's faith. What does God see when he looks at your faith? Okay, and God gives each of us a measure of faith. And so even when he's asking us to walk by faith or to awaken faith, it's awakening the faith that he already deposited into us. He gave it to you. Start activating it, meaning start stirring it up. Start walking in it. Start walking by it. Okay? It's in you. Start using it. Just like he's deposited gifts, talents, abilities. He literally gave it to you and he is asking you to use it. Why is your faith small? I gave you a greater measure. Why are you not walking in the measure that I gave you? He gives each a measure of faith, okay? So when he says walk by faith, that's not cruel because he actually gave us the gift of faith already, okay? What does God see when he looks at your faith? Is it weak faith, little faith, or faith that makes him marvel? And now this is no judgment, okay? This is just great awareness, because we can't fix what we won't face, okay? So great faith, here's what it says. God, I don't see a way. I don't see it, but I know in my guts, I know in my knower that you have a way. I may not have any of the qualifications for this position, but your favor will open doors for me. Your favor surrounds me like a shield. Your favor goes before me. I don't need the qualifications because you qualified me. Come on. This situation looks impossible in the natural. Yep, it sure does. But I believe dead things can come to life. Okay, maybe that's a relationship. Maybe that is a job that seems really dysfunctional. Maybe, that's a financial situation, a lawsuit. There's so many things. This situation looks impossible, but I believe dead things can come back to life. I believe in revival. I believe in the resurrection, dunamis power of God. Come on, somebody. Okay, so maybe, just maybe, you've been holding back, keeping your faith in a little cute box of your comfort zone. But this is your time to break free. This is your time to break free. The woman with the issue of blood pushed through the crowd, believing that just one touch of Jesus' robe would heal her. She refused to stay comfortable in small faith, and she received her miracle. I encourage you today to wake up, to shake up your great faith. Okay? And sometimes that means getting around other people that are walking by it. Right? We don't activate great faith by staying around people that give us permission to be small. That ain't it. Jesus couldn't even prophesy in his own town because the belief was too small. They didn't have faith for it. He couldn't prophesy in his own hometown because people didn't have faith for it. They couldn't receive. Right? So often that's true. Often, okay, we're not received by those that are familiar with us. We're not able to grow, okay, in the places that have served us for a season, but are in all points and purposes limiting to our future. Okay? So sometimes you got to get yourself around other people that are walking by faith so that you start walking by it. You got to step into a space where you can get activated into these spiritual gifts, into the supernatural, so that you see that gets to be your new normal. It's not so weird. It actually gets to be your new normal, right? The Bible, you receiving what's in there, right? You seeing prayers answered, you being activated in the freedom that Christ has given you, you walking in wholeness. These things are normal. This is what God does, right? But you got to get around people that are sharing testimonies of that, because we are moved and healed and redeemed and restored through the power of testimony. It's so, so powerful, because when you hear somebody share what God's done for them, that becomes possible for you. Really, really powerful. So I encourage you to wake up your great faith. Believe bigger. Stretch beyond what seems possible to you. Take the limits off God, right? God's not limited, but we can limit what we believe he can do. And great faith is what awakens great moves of God. He's ready to do something extraordinary in your life, but are you? You know, when you've been through lots of warfare, when you've been through a lot of attacks, when you've withstood a lot of testing and a lot of trials, sometimes it hurts to believe. Sometimes it's really, really challenging to believe bigger and live bolder after that, because you can't imagine going through anything like that ever again. Okay, but God can heal you from that. He can redeem you from that. And having the courage to believe is just that. It's incredibly courageous, but that's what he says. Be strong and be very courageous, because he's not done with you yet, right? If you are here, God is not done. He's not done. He's got good plans for you. He's got something that he wants you to step into with boldness. He wants to use you mightily, but more than that, he wants to love you. He invites us to partner with him, to co-create with him, and that's pretty wild if you think about it. God wants to love you back to life, and he wants to have a relationship with you, and he invites you into partnership with him to do what you could never do on your own, to change legacies, to build kingdom things, to advance the kingdom on the earth. As it is in heaven, so it is on the earth, right? He's got vision, creativity, connections, beautiful family for you, even if you didn't come from one. That's one of the things about Courage Co. Many people didn't come from, perfect families, legacies of faith. No, but God has made a family, a community of believers. It's the church, right? And we're here to lock arms together, build one another up, and run with endurance after the things God has called us to. So it's so powerful when you get around people that can encourage you and give you permission in their example, not pressure, but give you permission to step into what God has in mind for you and what deeply you know. Deeply you know. So at Courage Co, we're committed to helping you step into your God-given calling as a leader who serves, empowers, and transforms lives. Whether you're looking to grow in humility, overcome insecurity, or lead with purpose, we're created, right, to help you and to spur you on to these greater things God has. We've created this training hub to support you on your journey. So I encourage you to join us today. Step into this space that is literally designed for your growth, connection, and transformation. It's a space where you can heal, where you can strengthen your faith, where you can embrace God's promises and boldly step into the life that he's calling you to live. And make sure that if you do want to activate great faith, we're going to do it a day at a time, a step at a time, a moment at a time, in 30 days of faith walking. We're all going to be there. I'm going to be there. The leaders are going to be there. It's going to be so powerful. I encourage you to be there. The Lord moves. There's encounters. There's faith activated. There's breakthroughs. There's testimonies. That's an incredible gift that you can give yourself, and bring somebody along with you. So make sure that you join us. The details are in the show notes. You can also plug in. We've got all the updates inside Courage Co. www.courageco.org. All right, everybody. I hope this message blessed you. And until next time, stay blessed. Listen, if you are not plugged into Courage Co yet, what are you doing? Courage Co is a faith-based community off social media that you can access from your phone or your desktop, literally from anywhere. It is a safe place and a sacred space for you to invest in and live your most courageous and impactful story. You can join us for free for prayer calls and challenges, for a monthly subscription where we have monthly masterclasses, or the God's Vibes Mastermind, where you will get live master life coaching at a price that you won't get anywhere else. 12 weeks of content that we will go through together, or you can navigate at your own pace. You'll have lifetime access to that. A community of women doing this alongside of you, a workbook, and so many other materials to help you on your journey. And I just want you to imagine for a second, having the courage, clarity, and focus to achieve anything you desire. Walking into any situation fully confident, knowing you have everything you need to succeed. Embracing challenges and overcoming obstacles with grace and ease. Feeling only love and compassion for others, no matter how they may have hurt you in the past. Standing up for what you believe in and taking unstoppable action to create the kind of world you want to live in. You're in the right place to take your next step on your journey. When you plug into the God's Vibes Mastermind, I'll teach you how to identify and eliminate the self-limiting beliefs and habits that are stopping you from getting the results you want. I'll teach you how to heal old wounds that have negatively impacted your self-image and self-esteem for far too long. I'll show you how to dismantle the story of who you are and what you can or cannot do in the world. I'll help you expand your consciousness from fear-based limitation to love and compassion and service to the world. I'll help you vanquish the inner enemies that are stopping you from being all that you can be. Release your victimhood and reclaim your power. Develop a aligned mindset and habits to boost your productivity and results. Gain deeper awareness of your own inner light and divinity, and achieve the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual self-mastery needed to achieve any goal. You will learn how to think the way God formed, shaped, and anointed you to think, and succeed the way He always intended, and show up in any situation as the most powerful person in the room, no matter what challenges might appear on your path. If this sounds like something that you want to be a part of, I want to invite you to join the God's Vibes Mastermind. You can get plugged into it over at Courage Co. You can access Courage Co. at any level at www.courageco.org. Together, we will awaken your inner warrior spirit and unleash your capacity to achieve any goal you can imagine. You will become an example of what's possible with God.